What's up, guys? How's it going? Sean French here with another episode of the Determined Society. Today, I have a special guest, guys. Christopher Coy. He is an actor. He's not only an actor, he is my cousin. He is my family. I'm super excited about it. As you can tell, I'm all jacked up, trying to make sure everything's right here. Chris has been in a multitude of things, but the most important thing that I love about Chris is his journey, the things that he went through at a young age to get to where he's at right now. He's been in a plethora of things: The Walking Dead, Banshee, Trimming, True Blood, Walking Dead, and my personal favorite, Castle Rock on Hulu. Absolutely love the performance in there with that one. Yeah, man, this guy's great. We're just waiting for him to hop on. But I want to say thank you so much for listening ahead of time. And please do me a huge favor. The only way this is going to grow, guys, if you share the episodes. Please, we aren't doing any ads right now. I'm trying to grow organically here and give you guys minute-to-minute conversations with the best guests, the best ideas, and the best chats. So we're just going to continue waiting for him to hop on here. It's actually, we're a little early. We got a couple minutes. So we got some big guests coming up, guys. We got a lot of things going on. We got Chris today. I got Becca Chamberlain coming on later on this week. And I have Rick Laidman of Beyond Motion coming on this week too. So we have a lot of people coming on here. And then we do have another guest that I have scheduled for the end of January. I'm not going to announce yet. This one's big. They're all big to me, right? It's all the Super Bowl. Like every single episode that I do is like the Super Bowl, even if it's just a solo cast for me. So that's what's up. I appreciate you guys listening. We're doing things a little different now. As you can see, we're on camera, right? Got the Determined Society logo in the background. We're going to be doing it like this because I just heard that I had access to video via Anchor, and I'm able to download my video or upload my video to Spotify, and it showed video, and then it transcribed audio to all the other platforms like Apple Podcasts. So I promise you guys that is not an advertisement. That is just me talking through some things while I'm waiting for Chris. So I hope you guys are having a good 2022 so far. It's been awesome for me. Yeah, it's been awesome. We're at 3:59 right now, guys. When this guy hops on, I'm going to warn you, he's full of energy. You're going to absolutely love him. He's a trip. You know, one of my favorite things about him is his ability to find humor and joy in everything that he does. It's one of his gifts. I believe it's his superpower. But hopefully he hops on soon. I can let him in. Let me check real quick. Still not here. Still not here. So we will continue to wait. We will continue to wait. Some big things coming. Again, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm going to be launching some things next week. I'm going to do a series on Instagram Lives. I'm going to name it. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to name it yet. I do know what I'm going to name it, but I'm not going to tell you guys yet. And I'm kicking it off with a big guest. He's the man. He's an incredible dude, but I'm not going to spoil that surprise either, because it's worth the wait. I'll announce it soon. Trust me. I'm going to start promoting this thing like right now. And every week there's going to be episodes, right? There's going to be episodes, episode 1, episode 2, 3, 4. Most likely will be, oh, here he comes, guys. We'll get to it. Where's he at? Let me see that face. Woo! What's up? Look at that shirt. Let me see that shirt, bro.
Oh, this is just a little something threw on.
I don't quite fill it out as good as you, bro. I just gave you the proper introduction, bro. I warned everybody about your energy. I'm just super excited you're actually wearing clothes.
Bro, you know me so well, because that was the only outfit I considered other than this Determined Society t-shirt was nothing at all.
Is there anything else?
No, I know. And I just knew, like, you know, obviously podcasts, they're going to hear me, but you can't really hear nudity. And so,
well, you know what? You can if it's you, because all your energy is super loud and appreciated. But the cool thing is yesterday, guys, he sent me a text and he said, Is this thing going to be audio or is there going to be video as well? I said both, brother. We're going big on it, and I'm glad he did because if I wouldn't have told him we were going to be on video again, he would not be clothed. So, Chris, I was telling everybody a little bit about you. I did you the most justice possible. I did mention that your favorite work that I've ever seen was Castle Rock on Hulu.
That was a good one. That's a fun one. There's a lot of fans of that show, and then a lot of fans of my work that appreciate that one especially. To be honest with you and with them, I had just had hernia surgery the week before I filmed that, and so I was on a lot of opiates.
That's probably why it was so damn good.
And but dude, people will reach out and be like, man, I love like that you gave him a limp and there's never any mention of why, and like what a weird creative choice. And I'm like, no, I just literally couldn't walk right. I just had a
it was
gnarly...
like real. It was like real.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I love that one. I love Treme. And dude, the one, my personal, like way back when it first came out, when you were Barry the Bellboy on True Blood, that was like one of the very first things that you did, right?
That was my second job ever. Yeah, second job ever.
And your first job, I think, was something to do. No, your first year you broke, I think, Tom Hanks' record or something like that for things that you were in. I remember talking to you about that years ago.
Yeah, there was like a first year work record that was like, which is, I don't know if that even exists really anymore, because now there's so much with new media and all that. Now there's so many opportunities and jobs to book and stuff like that. Although at the time it never felt it never felt like more concentrated or you know, abundant in terms of job opportunities, or less abundant, or what. It always has felt the same to me. It feels like there are so many opportunities out there and there's just no way you're going to get them all, and you still want them all. And like, so there's this like this bottomless well of like ambition, if you're willing to like reach into it and go after it. And like that can be frustrating, but it can also be so satisfying, you know. Like there's as much sustenance as you can handle. But so anyway, yeah, that first year that I booked a job, I got reached out and told that from the day your first job airs until a year after that, the casting world or someone, you know, SAG maybe, keeps track of how many jobs you book in that year, but they've got to be a film with $1 million budget or more, or maybe a $500,000 budget or more, and then it's got to be major network or cable television shows. And Hanks, and it includes, like, if you get a series regular, it counts like 6 of those episodes. It doesn't count like all 22 or whatever. And yeah, I think Hanks, his first year that he booked like 11 jobs, 12 jobs. And that, yeah, in 2000 and from February of 09, from February of 09 to February of 2010, Coy booked 14. Yeah, that was a thing.
It's dope, man. So what's more impressive, dude? It's impressive. And like, before I get to what's most impressive about you to me, just as a family member, and I love you, obviously we're family, we're blood, but one thing that people may not know about you, and someone on Facebook says, make sure you cover this. You were a badass martial artist as a kid. You travel all over the world and win tournaments. Do you mind chatting a little bit about that and kind of maybe how that set the tone for not just you as a person in your career, but as a father and a husband?
Sure. I'm actually back in it now, bro. Yeah, I have a tournament in February. That's my first like return to the circuit.
I feel bad for people, man. That's gonna be dope.
Huh?
That's gonna be dope. I feel bad for people, man.
We'll see. You know, I've definitely, dude, I've aged. It's which I swear wasn't evident to me until I got back into a ring, and I was like, oh, that leg doesn't work like that anymore.
That shit hurts.
Yeah, but surely, man, and that stuff helps me every day. Most of the value, I think, was just in the work ethic, was in the discipline, and also specifically for my journey with acting, martial arts training or that lifestyle, especially when you start young like I did, they really drill words like perseverance or, you know, mentalities like that into you. And so for me, it served me because by the time I got out to Los Angeles, and everybody was talking about, oh, it's a grind, and like, oh, it's a pressure cooker, and you know, you're gonna go in this room and all these eyes are gonna be at you. I was like, yeah, but nobody's gonna kick me in the face, right?
Perspective,
like,
right?
Yeah. And I was like, well, that sounds easy enough. And then also, like, it was like, you know, you're gonna do 1,000 of them before you ever win one, and it's like, well, at least it's not 10,000. You know, let's go. Like, and that all came as a consequence of just, you know, getting beat down and trained properly in martial arts. I was lucky enough to have really, really gifted instructors, not just gifted physically, but in terms of teaching. Like they really knew how to shape an athlete or a person. And dude, I think too, like with anything that the people are really good at, I just fucking loved it. I loved that shit. I loved, for a lot of those same reasons that when I got to LA, it worked. Like, I love that pressure. I think that I perform better under it. And that's something that's palpable to me, and it turns me on. Like, I already can sometimes feel like a bit of a cocky bastard, and so I like feeling good at what I do, but then to like be able to feel a shift and get elevated because of that pressure just feels sexy to me, feels good to me. Like, and it always drove me to continue trying to get better. And you know, first I went in terms of martial arts, you know, first I just wanted to compete. I wanted to know what it felt like to be in a tournament. And then it was like, well, I want to win a regionals. And so then like I won over the course of those years, man, dozens and dozens of regionals. And then I was like, well, what's the nationals feel like? And so then 11 nationals later, it was like, how do I get a world championship? And, you know, it just never stopped. And then it was like, well, I want to be on the world demonstration team. I want to go to Korea. And that's how this is too. And I think you can attest to this as well with your own life and journey, that like a lot of people think they're like aiming for some finish line, and it's not there.
There's no fucking finish line.
Right.
And that's one thing that I've always appreciated about you. Like I may have never come out and say it, but I'm gonna fucking say it now. We have always shared the same ability to create what we want in our life.
Sure.
There has never been a moment where I've been around you and you have been in a shitty mood. You have maybe been upset at something, but you always have had the ability to find the positive in that and be grateful in that moment. And with that, you've been able to attract whatever you wanted in your life. And I feel like you and I share that, right? And it's never been with us like, hey, we're ready now, right? We're ready. Let's go do this. All right. I wasn't ready to start the Determined Society. I wasn't ready to start a podcast. I wasn't ready to start any of this shit. And were you ever really ready to go to Korea? Were you ever really ready? And we're going to get to this, graduate early and fucking go to LA? No. But what it was is sometimes in life, I'm sorry, not sometimes, all the time, you have to do the shit before you're ready.
It's true, man.
And then figure it out along the way. So it's one of the things I'm most impressed about with your journey. And, you know, so speak on that, because I feel like you're a spiritual person. You know, I feel like you have a higher level of understanding of how this world and this universe works. It's just my opinion. That's just my perspective.
Sure. I mean, I certainly believe that we manifest what we want, and that that in terms of most people's struggle, I think that the largest obstacle is themselves, and a lot of the time it's internal. I think that and we all doubt. I definitely have moments and even days, weeks sometimes where there's this like voice in my head that I'm like, will you shut up? Like, will you stop telling me I can't do it? Like,
those limiting thoughts and beliefs are telling you just like, hey, you got to block them out. That's the thing.
Right,
like,
exactly.
So every day.
Right. And that's a natural fight that I think that everybody has. But what's important is that, like with any fight, is just that you keep fighting, is that you keep telling that thing to shut up. You keep moving past it, walking around it, pushing through it, whatever the hell you got to do. Because ultimately on the other side of that fight is manifestation, is you either, it's not like I'm not building a house with my mind, but I'll bring the first step to myself. I'll bring it into my life and then be able to recognize it and take action. And
I mean, I think it's most important, like when you start something, whether it's an acting career, building a business, coaching people, you have to start with that end in mind, right? You have to know what it looks like. And then you reverse engineer it and you start from point A, right? And you start doing the actions that are going to get you to that end result, right? It's not like, okay, I'm going to be an actor and let me figure out what I need to do to get there. It's like, this is what I want to do. This is where I see myself. And now I got to reverse engineer this thing to life.
Sure. And I think too that, back to the launch pad for this conversation, that like, it's not really about knowing what you have to do or knowing that you're ready or anything. In fact, it's about not being afraid to just go. Whether it's your ambition with your career or relationships or being a parent. Like, so many people out there, like, how do you know when it's time to how do you know when you're ready? It's like, bro, you will never ever be ready. They'll all three be here and you're still not ready.
You figure out every single day.
That's right. All day long.
One meltdown at a time.
That's right. And like, it's always something new popping up that you weren't ready for. And that I think is like a key ingredient in anybody who's successful is, adaptability or just being able to kind of go with the flow and be okay with a lack of control, kind of just killing the chaos, like just getting in there.
Control, dude, that word.
Yeah, sure.
That word gets a lot of people in trouble. What I found, and it's a cliche, but we can control the controllables. We control how we wake up every morning. Are we grateful? We control if we get up and we go outside and we hit the roads, right? We control if we go work out. We control if we read script after script after script and really try to get into that psyche of that actor, right? You control that. We control that. And I think that in life, if we can just continue on a day-to-day basis, focus on what we can control as an individual, then we're much better off. Then we can win that war against ourselves every single day.
Sure.
But if we're looking out, things that are completely outside of our control, like what are we even doing? At that point, it's insanity.
That's right. And you're missing out too on, as opposed to controlling what's coming to you, I feel like trusting what the universe is giving you is so much more important. If I had spent my career, or if I was spending my career now, like trying to control every job that I did based on my own comprehension of what that job was going to be, where it was going to take me, that's fucking ridiculous, because like I have no idea, and neither does anyone else. Like if there's anything 20 years in, I know it's that some of the best scripts I've ever read ended up being the biggest piles of garbage I've ever seen on screen. And some of the worst pieces of shit I've ever not even finished turned into the fucking Hunger Games. turned into
Quite literally.
huge game-changing
Right.
vessels where like people's whole fucking lives were changed for generations to come. And so
It's
ultimately,
crazy.
yeah. And so now, or I would say that, for the last decade, I've let go of the reins a bit. Like
Mhm.
I wake up, I work out, I take care of myself, I take care of my family, but I understand that like I don't control the weather,
Mhm.
and whatever happens on the road is kind of up to something else. And as long as I can like just keep it between the lines, like I don't know where we're going, and that's okay. And with that acceptance and trust, I swear came success, came like, here's a job that I think I would have been like, what is it? I don't understand what this is going to do for me. And it's like, well, how about you just shut the fuck up and go for it? And like,
Mhm.
I would go, and then, dude, like, it would either turn into something that was bigger than I expected it to be, or I would get a job a year later that would change my whole life. And when I finally got to talk to my boss or the creator or whoever and be like, why me, bro? They'd be like,
Mhm.
dude, I saw you in this piece of shit and you were so good. And it's like, if I would have never done that piece of shit, if I would have been, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, we don't really know what's coming, and that's okay. And dude, if you work hard and then you trust the universe and you trust that like you'll be rewarded for that effort, dude, you get surprised all the time, or at least I do.
Dude, I'm laughing because I love the shit out of you, man. Because everything you're saying is resonating so much, right? I was thinking about this the other day. And this is a stupid analogy, but I'm the dude that likes to tie everything together. You know that, right? So
Mhm.
I'm sitting in the parent pickup line. You may have seen this video already, but I'm sitting in the parent pickup line, and there's a roundabout, right? So all the cars, and parent pickup lines, like those fucking
Mhm.
things are ridiculous. I think it's a new thing. I don't think there was ever that chaos when we were kids. But so parent pickup line straight, and then there's a roundabout, right? And all of a sudden I saw the car just cutting across the roundabout. I'm like, dude, why aren't these cars following the rules and going around the deal?
Right.
Right? Like, what's going on? I wasn't trusting what was in front of me. Who am I to judge the future? Like, I don't know. I don't know what these people, first of all, I don't know what these people are going through. How dare I say, well, why don't they just go around the roundabout? Like, there's a reason, right? So as I got closer, it was my turn. There was a whole bunch of cones that were falling over. They were just a bunch of cones that they couldn't go. And so right then I said, my journey is simply that. It is a journey. Whatever's going on in my life, I need to accept that exact moment for what it is. And
Right.
then later on, maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 years down the road, then maybe I'll know what the fuck that moment was for. But for
That's right.
me, I need to be grateful for that right there.
Yeah.
And I have goosebumps right now because you literally just touched on what I've been working through for the last 5 days
Mm.
of just everything going on in my life, in my family's life, like right now, is for a better purpose. We're going to come out better at the other end. Whether we perceive this moment as bad or good, we're
Right.
going to be better people for it. I mean, straight up.
That's right. Yeah. It's more fun too to even just like in your own vocabulary, to like when something that you see as bad, or a shitty day, or some
Mhm.
random occurrence is happening. It's more fun for me nowadays to like, when that's happening, even if I'm like, sometimes it happens like in my frustration, I'm like, fuck, like what the, and then like I'm like, wait, instead of why is this happening, it's like, what is this, like what is this, and what
This
is
is
it
happening
leading
for
to?
me. This is happening
Yeah,
for me,
exactly. I'm
not
like,
to me, right?
okay, I get it. Like I'm still just like a monkey person, and I don't know why. Like I don't know
Yeah.
why there's no bananas, but like there's a fucking reason. Like,
Fuck it, right? It's
yeah,
there. I'm going to roll with it. I think
that's
that's
right.
just important. Man, I mean, that's a whole other, we can do a whole other, episode on that. But, one of the things, dude, that really stood out and I really appreciate about you is when you were 17 years old. I believe you were 17. Forget, if I'm wrong, correct me. When you graduated high school early,
Hmm.
and there was people telling you not to do it. The principal of the high school was trying to encourage you not to do it.
Almost everyone who loved me was like, "Don't do this."
I don't even remember. I might have been one. I don't know. But I mean, but shit, man. I mean, because you love somebody, and dude, sometimes the people you love don't give you the best advice for your career.
It's true.
Because it's something you feel, So, but dude, it was really impressive because it wasn't about the fact that you just did your deal anyway. It was the fact that you were so young and so impressionable, right? Like you were a kid, dude, and you were steadfast, and you went out there and you did it, And the thing that impressed me the most is, and we had conversations about it. I think probably 2 or 3 years after you came back, we were probably getting smoked over at grandma's for Christmas Eve. But you went through some adversity out there, and people were telling you to come home.
Yeah, dude, I had moments in the room. I had auditions where I got stopped halfway through reading a scene, and just so the guy could be like, what made you think you should be out here? Like, let me give you a piece of real advice. Like, go back to Milwaukee or wherever it is that you're from, and like do something else, because this isn't your club. And I mean, God, to be honest with you, at the time, I went through 6 years of that. It was 6 years of failure before I got my first real job. So before that first year where I booked all those jobs happened, there was just under 6 years where I had full representation and I was auditioning regularly, at least 2 or 3 times a week, usually. And it was literally, a couple thousand rejections, a lot of which, probably a quarter of weren't nice about it. But again, in martial arts, like I was a little guy. I wasn't the big, tall guy. I certainly wasn't big and ripped. And there was a lot of times where it was stacked in front of me, or it felt like, or people would say like, well, yeah, you're going to make it to nationals, but then you're going to have to fight Peter Boyd, and he's 6'4" at 14, and he's just going to rip your head off. And Boyd, if you're listening, I still remember that 5-0 victory, dog.
Well, hey, I'll tag him in this. I'll tag him. He's gonna listen. What's his name? Peter Boyd? Yeah. Hey, be careful. He might be pissed. He might be 6'10" now and probably get back.
Yeah, he probably is. No, and
you might have to kick his ass again.
Training, probably.
You might have to beat him up again.
Well, I'm gonna see him in February, and he's gonna be like, "I heard that shit, bro.
I heard that shit." Well, if he actually listened to the episode, you better share it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, though, the point being that on top of all of that, it was when I was leaving, like you started to say, and everybody was saying, don't do this, and you're a sharp kid, and why don't you go to college? And I had a couple scholarships that we could have utilized, and it didn't really matter. Somebody could have paved a golden road for me to go elsewhere, but I had a feeling, like a certainty in me, that like nobody else could feel or hear or see, but it was deafening to me. And
so powerful, brother. It's powerful.
I had to go. Yeah. And throughout those 6 years of rejection, that voice never quieted. It always was like, they don't know. I'm telling you, there's something about this. And on top of that, it was that I genuinely loved it. I really, really enjoyed the craft and the required commitment and discipline. And I knew that once I started working or booking jobs, I knew that there would be this physical element to it that I was just aching for. Like I worshipped people like Christian Bale and Gary Oldman and those kind of actors, and I wanted to play that game. And there's just no like other arena where you get to lose 55 pounds for a job, or get fat for a job, or just get ripped, or even playing with my shape, whether it be like extreme, like big and fat, or dying from AIDS. It was like all that fun stuff in the middle too, where it's like, well, just because I say so, this guy's going to be lean and mean. So like, we're going to switch up my whole routine. It's going to be heavy cardio and low weight, high reps. And we're doing 7 days a week and let's go. And then like the next guy, just because we say so, he's more mass. He's just big. And like, let's do that. So let's.
Sorry. So do they tell you what the character looks like, or do you get to feel the character?
A lot of the times you get to make those calls. And again, that's what
that's insane.
Certain times it's obvious, like, or it's written, with the Deuce, we always knew that Paul was going to die from AIDS.
Right.
But season 1 and 2, they didn't say anything about what he looked like. All I knew was that there was an 8-year time gap between seasons. And in the first season, I'm playing him at 22. And so I was like, well, he's a 22 young gay guy. Like, he's going to be really lean and just toned as hell, because I know they're going to rip my shirt off at some point. And then we come back for the second season, and just historically speaking, late 70s, it was 1977, 78, in New York City, the gay community had really gotten into, because of this erotic cartoon, Tom of Finland, who was this like jacked leather wearing fucking guy that had become this sort of cultural phenomenon that had swept through the community. And that was sexy, was like this big muscular guy. And so, nobody told me, that wasn't written in the script, but it was an opportunity for me to be like, well, I think if he's the stud, which that was written, that he's a stud, he'd probably look like this. And I've got the time and the resources. So let's pack on 30 pounds of fucking muscle. Let's go. And again, like, I loved that shit. I love that shit. And I knew back then that was going to be one of my layers, and that I wanted that, but the only way to get there or even taste it at all was to book jobs. And so it didn't matter that it was 6 years of no or 10 years of no. Right. I was gonna wake up every day and tie my shoes and run headfirst into that brick wall.
Fucking love it, dude.
Back to real quick, just because I'm on it, that like, it goes back to what we were saying about how there's no end to this journey. You wake up and you run headfirst into that brick wall, and it knocks you the fuck out. And you wake up on the floor the next day, and you like dust yourself off, and you run back into that wall, and it knocks you the fuck out.
Do shit all over again, man.
And then eventually you run, and that wall comes down, and guess what's on the other side? It's another fucking wall. And like,
just different.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that now
it's a different wall.
Right. Now it's marble.
Are those jorts? Can I see those? Are you wearing jorts?
I was, but dude, that's hilarious. I was all day, but I'm just I just have my Nike socks on now.
Oh, just your socks?
Look, bro, I'll show you my feet. This whole time you're sitting there, I'm talking, I'm like, he just wants to see my feet.
No, I thought you were wearing jean shorts.
Oh, I thought you said Jordans. Yeah, Jordans. I am wearing Jordans.
Oh my God, those are like the Incredible Hulk fucking shorts.
Can you see them?
You can sit down now.
Oh, okay.
I love you, man. It's funny because when you're talking about that, you're this deafening voice that's inside your head of like exactly what you need to be doing that nobody else can hear, but you can not only hear it, it's deafening, and you probably felt it physically, right? It's that pull, it's that gravitational pull to what you're supposed to be doing. And I can relate to that, but the thing that's great is, as human beings, we have a choice every single day to wake up in our story or to walk in someone else's, right? And what you've done, and this is why I wanted you on here. It's just like, yeah, I want to sit here and talk to you. You're my cousin, but like, dude, you chose to wake up in your story no matter what anybody freaking told you, right? And so like every day you're waking up, and whether it's the 6 years of rejection, that's your story. That's a blessing. Like that literally made you the fucking father you are, dude.
Agreed.
and the husband you are. Like you're a phenomenal father and a phenomenal husband. You know, and dude, and I'm gonna tell you, man, we've always had a good relationship, but our relationship has been, I've grown up too, right? But like, I'm just impressed, man, because that's
Well, dude, likewise. I appreciate that though, but likewise, man. I mean,
yeah.
look, we both did pretty damn well, man. And it's like all this other stuff, which is, the majority of what we're talking about, and that's fine. And this stuff is important, and everybody
Mhm.
out there wants to be good at something and wants to figure out a way to get it and accomplish whatever it is. And I think this stuff's important to talk about. But ultimately, right there, what you're talking about is that's the good shit. Is like
Yeah.
we both became, despite ourselves, we both became really great partners and fathers.
And not
And
gonna lie, dude, I don't know how we pulled it off, but our wives are absolutely gorgeous.
I do too, man. I'm like,
Mm.
again, those
Those
are
are some
those are the
queens,
moments
but
where it's easy to be like, this is my story.
yeah,
Like when I
yeah,
wake up
yeah,
and
yeah,
see her, I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can do this again. I can do this
I'm
shit
definitely the
again.
main character.
I'll do one more. I'll do one.
Yeah.
Another 24 hours. Let's go.
Yeah, it's not a bad racket. Thank you though, brother. Thanks.
What dude, what's the favorite your most favorite project that you've done,
man? It's probably, just because of more time in it, more effort required, and the most challenging was probably the Deuce.
Yeah.
Just getting out of my own personal comfort zone, and then it had this physical element to it where I bounced around and weighed, and then in the end, like, I went from 205 of all muscle to 150, 205 to 152. Is that right? Yeah, 205 to 152. Of just like skin and bones to die in season 3. And that journey, it was so much fun and so satisfying in its difficulty and in like the depths of my own discipline that I had to mine for and discover. And like by the end of it, it was like on top of not, it's like at its base level, it's like you got to learn your lines or whatever. But by then, like I knew that man so well. And it was also one of the rare occasions where I got to play somebody who I know he was a better man than me. He's just a hell of a human being that I got to help build with this incredible team of writers and producers. But on top of all those sort of creative elements, there was this like, the last 3 weeks, I think my dietitian and nutritionist had me down to under 500 calories a day.
Jeez,
So
Christmas.
yeah. And so like no physical exertion. Like I literally could go from like the couch to the bathroom and obviously no like alcohol or anything like that. Right. It was like I could have like a hard-boiled egg, 12 unsalted almonds, and I could snack on peppers. But even then, like I could only have like a handful. And so like I would space that out throughout the day. And it was a hell of a thing. It was like, but also, well, certainly looking back at it, but even in it, it was still fun. Like it was like, this is such a weird and singular experience. Like so few people have any reason to do this to themselves. And then on top of that, being lucky enough to be doing it the right way with proper guidance and so much support. And like, it was awesome. It was like, it was a real big moment for me, both as a professional in my industry, but also just as an artist and as an individual. And like getting to the other side of that and being like, I did that, and I know I can do that, and it left me with this even deeper feeling of like, I'll take all comers, bring it on, like whatever it is, let's do it. Which ultimately, I don't think if I hadn't done that, I don't know if so. Right now, I have a show on ABC called Women of the Movement.
I do want to talk about that. I haven't watched it yet, but
that's okay. No. We don't have to. We don't have to talk. But on that show, though, because I'm playing a real guy, when they offered it to me, I was like, they're like, they want you to play this guy, and I look him up, and I'm like, but I mean, this guy's he looks 20 years older than me, and he's big belly and so much neck fat and bald, and I'm like, are they gonna? And so we called them, we're like, you know what I look like right now, right? Like I had just finished a job where I was really fit. And they're like, yeah, we were hoping that you would like gain 30 pounds and we're gonna shave your head and you're gonna just live like a bald guy for 5 months. And I don't think that if I hadn't done the deuce, if I hadn't already gone through sort of body dysmorphia and gotten used to waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror and not really recognizing myself, it might have freaked me out. But instead it was like, it was the natural next move. It was like, well, we've already gone the other extreme. Let's go this way.
You're like, all right, let's go.
And and what's interesting though is it wasn't as much fun. Losing all the weight felt like discipline, felt like hard work.
Oh, dude, gaining weight, it's like living in just sheer instant gratification. Like, of course, exactly. Losing the weight, that's delayed gratification, right?
Right. And so the other way, it was like within about a month, I was miserable like every day because like I would wake up and I had to keep it on, and I ended up putting on 35 pounds. But then like that's not my body's natural state, and so like it would wear off, and I'm energetic, and I would end up like just like even if I wasn't working out, I would just still be moving all day, and you know, and so I would be losing at least a little bit just naturally, and so I had to maintain this fucking like wake up and eat a huge breakfast, and then have like a snack between breakfast and lunch, and then 2 little meals between lunch and dinner, and fucking just like. It was miserable. Like,
how many calories a day were you eating at that point?
I don't know, because with that one, that was the other thing too, is there was no with losing the weight, everything was charted, everything was regimented. It was like this routine. It was like science. And then with that one, it was like just fucking madness. Like, I'll never turn down a beer. I'll eat if I see food, I'm eating it.
You're gonna eat.
Like, and then like drinking all night, every night, and like it all worked. But my God, like when you say it, I think some people are like, that sounds like a dream. And it's like, yeah, but too much of any good thing is still too much. Good.
Yeah.
It was good. Like, and so yeah, the last probably 4 months of that job, man, I was like, oh man, you think a hangover is bad? Like, have a hangover and then like walk to the bathroom and turn the light on and look in the mirror and you see this like,
who is this person?
Yeah. And like you've got to convince yourself that it's for the right reasons and all that shit. It was just I feel like a whiny little actor right
now.
No,
dude, it's awesome. But it was for real, dude. That is on the agenda. I did want to touch on this project because it's your newest one. So, you know, with that being said, when you went into the, is there a second season? Are you gonna do this all over again?
Probably will be, but it won't be us. Like it's an anthology series.
Oh, so cool.
Every season tells a different story.
Okay, those are awesome, dude. I like those.
Yeah. Cool. Which thank God it was. I mean, I'm so glad that I am a part of it, and I think it's such an important piece, and I hope the whole world just takes it in. But I don't want to play that guy anymore, you know, like
you don't want to be the fat guy anymore.
It wasn't even that, it was who he is. He wasn't really a man who deserved the voice or who deserves to be portrayed at all, but he's a necessary evil. Like you know, you can't tell the story without the problem. And
well, me and Jack will have to go on, we'll have to stream it. It's on ABC, right?
Yeah, well it's also on Hulu, so it streams on Hulu the day after it airs.
Okay,
So
cool.
the
We're gonna have
first
to
two
get on that, man,
episodes.
because I was looking at it. I'm like, shit, dude, I got to get on this. I'm interested in it big time. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
excited
hell of a
to
story.
watch it and to see you do
Thanks,
your
man.
thing on another freaking masterpiece. What's next, man?
So I'm also on I'm on an Amazon show right now too, but it won't be out until the end of the year maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Peripheral, um, like peripheral vision,
Sick.
and it's by the same guys that made Westworld.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be badass. That's gonna be
Yeah,
out there, dude.
yeah, it's super. It's like it's sci-fi,
Okay.
futuristic. It like straddles two timelines, and there's all kind. I don't know what I'm even allowed to like say, but
No, dude, just I'm
it's
excited,
super
man.
super cool and action drama, and I think I can say that, dude. And I get to play like I'm like the love story in there,
No
which is fun
shit.
for me to
That's cool.
kind of just get to play. Like, and it was offered to me while I was filming Women of the Movement. So I'm like doing a Zoom like this with the producers, and I've got a beanie on covering my bald shaved head, and I've got it
And you're
framed like
fat.
this so they can't see my gut. And like I've got the camera like elevated so it's looking down on me so you can't see my neck rolls and
Oh
shit.
shit. I'm
And
working all the angles.
they're like, we want you to play like kind of this lover boy, and like, you're in good shape, right? And I'm like,
Yeah, fuck yeah,
guys.
man. Run a marathon right now. Come
When
on.
I finish this job in about 3 weeks, when do you want me there? And they're like, 4 weeks. I'm like, cool.
How'd you pull that one off? You go in
So
ketosis? What'd you do?
we worked it out with the show that I was on, that we had already featured enough shots, accentuating my weight and showing that I looked like the guy. And so we just basically got clearance for me to go ahead and start shedding the weight. And we would, by me sitting behind desks or me, wearing a baggier shirt, and we would make it look like I still had the weight, that it would be okay in the end if I started dropping those pounds. To be honest, I don't think they realized like how rapidly that was going to happen. But it worked out in the end. And by the time, and sure enough, like when I got to London to start filming The Peripheral, I was good. I was in, I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be yet, but I was in good enough shape. And then I had a couple weeks before I had to do like a shirtless shot or anything like that. And so it
worked out.
It all worked out.
So
which
I saw you in July.
Yep.
And then you left, I think, to film something after that. Was that to film Peripheral?
So I had just come back from filming Peripheral in London. And then we filmed the second half of the series in North Carolina.
That's what it was.
And in between, I moved the family from Cali to Florida, and that's when we saw you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try to put the timelines together.
It's true, man, and it seems like it's like chaos. But again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. That like, if you put that schedule down on paper and handed it to somebody, or even me, if you handed that to me and we're like, "This is going to be next year," I'd be like, "Absolutely not! Like, this is madness. This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
But by taking it one day at a time and understanding that, like, if it's being handed to me, I can probably do it. Like, if something's being presented to you, the universe is saying, like, how about this shit? No matter what it looks like, you can probably handle it. And like,
that's something that I think everybody needs to hear, right? And we all need to understand that. We all need to move forward in this life, really thinking about that, because no matter what we're going through, no matter what the prescription you get to life, no matter what, there's always a way through, right? And I think that a lot of people give up on themselves in those moments and say, you know what, I'm not even going to try it because it's too much. I mean, it's really too much. But what you're saying is like, no, you hand me the script, you hand me what's going on next year, and no matter what, I'm going to fulfill it. I'm going to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. And it's especially when you can't. I think that a lot of people, they get afraid, or they feel like saying no because like they can't picture it in their mind's eye.
Right.
And it's like, sometimes I feel like how fucking boring would it be if you could always envision everything? Like,
Dude, if there's no twists and turns, man, what the like? Those are the best.
Yeah, then why
movies,
are we
bro.
even watching the movie?
Yeah, why are we even doing this life, right? Like,
Right.
I need to be surprised here. I don't want predictability constantly because that breeds, dude, that breeds complacency.
It's true.
That complacency is a killer. For
Right.
me,
Exactly.
I want some shit to pop up every now and again, just like, all right, motherfucker, how am I gonna navigate this? Right. So
just like, like saying like it's your story. Like, what main character in any movie or show or book or whatever, what main character just knew what the fuck was going to happen all the time? In fact, that's the opposite of the main character. The main character is he or she or it or whatever has got to be fucking surprised and got to be shit on, and then figure out how to clean themselves off and figure it out. Like, that's the whole point. And so
I love it, man. I love it. I want to end with something.
Okay.
Because we're running up on time, but I wanted to ask you to picture yourself talking to someone that's about to do what you were going to do, that you did when you were 16, because they're somewhere in America right now. And God willing, hopefully this episode gets into their hands, because this episode is going to get into the right hands. Understand that, right? Sure. This episode is going to be heard by however many people is in their plan, right? And it's going to serve them in their life. So what advice, what nuggets can you give that child or just that individual that is about to embark on something that everybody's telling him or her not to do, but without a shadow of a doubt that inside it's the right thing to do?
Sure. Well, the first thing that I always tell anybody who reaches out to be like, what's your first piece of advice, or what should I do, or whatever, the first thing I always say to them is don't do it. Because like, if me telling you not to do it deters you, like, this shit ain't gonna work. But like, beyond that, it's prevail. It's just in terms of simplicity, it's just persevere. It's just keep going. Because it's hard to come from a further place, at least domestically speaking, than I did into this industry. This industry is far and wide is a rich kid's game. When you get out there, you can't get a job without an agent. You can't get an agent without a job, and you can't get an agent if you haven't been in classes. But classes cost a shit ton of money, and you can't really get in classes if you don't have somewhere to live, and that costs more money than you've ever spent on anything, especially if you're coming from anywhere other than Los Angeles or New York. Right. Like, it's all so daunting and such like a constant paradox. And again, like we said throughout this whole thing, that never ends. Like, at first, like, I just need representation. Oh, well, now I got agents. Well, I just need auditions. Well, now I got a shit ton of auditions. If I can just book a job. Well, now I booked a job, I need a bigger job. Well, now I'm a series regular, but I need people to see it. Well, now I got a movie, but like, it's not getting a lot of traction. And now, like, it's like, there's always more. Even like, we could sit fucking Thor down right now, and I guarantee you Hemsworth is like, man, like, I just can't get this to happen. Yeah. Like, I want more than this, and I can't figure out how to get there, but he's going to keep going. And I think that if that's going to be the required behavior throughout the entire journey, regardless of which tier of success you're on, you better start right now understanding that, like, you got to get up and go every day. Don't stop.
I love it. It all breaks down to, why are you doing it, right? Like, what is the reason? What is burning inside of us to do this? And I think that if people can truly connect with that why of why they're doing something, why they want to do something every single day, it's going to give them a little more wind in their sail to continue to push, right? Because not everybody has that grit and fortitude, right? And I think it's something that can be built through self-discipline, right? And doing a lot of work on yourself. But for me, I just wanted you to say it, because if you sit there and you tell somebody, hey, can I have some advice? You're like, don't do it. And they go, okay. Like, no, that's exactly what I fucking point.
Right.
Point. Right. And I think that for me, I just think that's everything. You know, how many people told me not to do this?
Right.
You know, you got to start learning at some point, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stop worrying about what other people think. This is about you. This is your life. And if you have a gift, it is your responsibility to go give it to the world. Whether you're an actor, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're an influential speaker, a freaking mechanic, a grocer at Publix, it doesn't matter. You were called to do a certain thing. There's a purpose in life. And if we can, as people, understand what our purpose is and fulfill that purpose for the greater good of other people, then how in the hell can we be stopped? Right? Like that's what it's all about.
Right.
So look, man, I love you, dude. I'm gonna call you probably tomorrow. All right. I'm gonna look at this and I'm so jacked, dude. This is gonna be awesome. When I publish it, I'll let you know. If you can share it out, let's get a lot of people to listen to this thing, man. I think you help a lot of kids, a lot of people that are struggling because to me, your story is truly inspiring. And
thanks, brother.
I love you, bro.
Well, yours too. I feel like at some point you got to let me guest host, and I'll call you up, and
we can set that up, dude. We can do a guest host. That'd be fun, man. That'd be a lot of fun. We got a lot of fun shows coming up. I've got a big one that I'll shoot you offline because I don't want to announce it yet. I'll shoot you a text of who it is. It's gonna be pretty exciting to be on. That episode's gonna air on January 31st. I got 2 more this week that are gonna be really good too. I got a girl a lady that I'm friends with. She was born into a cult.
I was looking at that, man. That seems crazy.
And dude, and it's gonna be fire. When I heard her story, I just had a physical reaction, like crying, right? And then I got a buddy who's a renowned trainer that's coming on this week, and then I'm building out the guests. But yeah, dude, like we can do it. We can do a guest.
Well, I just think that the reason that you're so well placed in this position is that, dude, you did this too. Like you lived a life of adversity and where there was so much doubt, I'm sure, and you became one of the greatest ball players in the world and played for one of the most legendary teams to ever do it. And it's like, and then on top of that, to get so close and then not get what you thought you always wanted, and then figure out a way to turn that into something that is helping people now, and or what you've been doing for years. It's like how many gloves have come through Sean French over the years now? Like how many kids have gotten better at that game that they love so much because of you? And then right now, like you're just building this community of people. And I think that every time that I see one of your videos pop up, I know that there's somebody out there that you're healing. There's somebody out there that you're helping,
I appreciate it. It's all about when we go through things in life and we don't get what we want, we have to find the reason. And what our job is to educate the youth and everybody else out there in the world that, hey, listen, this happened to me. Here's how I acted or reacted. It wasn't the way to go. Here were my results. Here's how I can help you from making the same mistake.
Yeah.
Right. And that's my journey right now. Everything that happened to me at LSU, the injuries after injuries, the sitting on the bench. I never sat on the bench. I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't even understand what it was. And for me, going to LSU, having so much promise and being highly touted, and all the expectations were on me, and I just wasn't mentally there, right? I was still in a mindset of I'm comparing myself to other people. Like, dude, look at that guy. He's like 6'4", 220 pounds and ripped. I'm 5'11", 185, 190. Like, I can't play with that guy. And it burned me. Right. And then I ended up getting hurt. So that was a completely other story. But, I did all that shit to myself. Right. And I'm not embarrassed to talk about that anymore, because for me, that is my story. That's how I'm able to help other kids. Right. And coach these other kids and speak to them, quite frankly, how I wasn't spoken to.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
It's I don't sit there and say, hey, you'll never see the field. Hey, I say, listen, we got some things going on right now that we need to fix, or there's a high likelihood that you won't see much playing time. But here's how I see we can fix this. And it's on you to do it. And if you don't, hey, that's cool. That's your choice. Right. But I think that when we grow up and we learn through the way we've been spoken to and treated by coaches, parents, extended family and friends, we have a choice. Do we perpetuate that same energy on to the next generation, or do we do something to fix it? Right. And that's the journey I'm on right now. So
yeah, man.
this is it, man. This is
Yeah.
it.
This is fun, dude. I want to do this with you every day. Actually, it's good to see your face. Good to talk to you.
Shit, man, I'm down. We can FaceTime every day.
Okay.
Be
All
fun.
right, cool.
Do me a favor before we get
Yeah.
off. Remember, give Alice and the girls my love.
Yeah.
Hug the puppies for me. And that big badass boy you got, give him my love too, because that dude, that guy. Get him in here. Let me see him.
Come here. Just you or you can both come in. Yeah, you're here. Yeah, come on. What's the matter? Your leg hurts? You got 2 shots right in the leg today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Just juice. Just juice him up already.
Oh, is it just test? It
Yeah.
needs that guy just regular test. James, what's up, brother? Hey, buddy, I love you, man. Did you get a shot today?
Did you get a shot in your leg today? Does your leg hurt? He's being shy.
Poor guy. Well, listen, guys,
dude,
I love you very much.
Well, bro.
I will, man. I will. And I'll shoot you a text here in a minute, and I'll give you an update, and we'll connect soon.
Okay.
All right. Love you, bro.
I love you too. Later.
Peace.
Bye.